You are listening to the USDN on the DFPN.
It's a trap!
What is up, everybody? It's the chairman here of the United States Department of Nerds, where we are for the people, by the people, and of the people. And sometimes in comic books, it's easy to spot the good guys. Red, white, and blue wrap tight around righteousness. But here in the real world, half the country would despise anyone who dressed up and tried to pretend to be Captain America. So what happens when a symbol of unity becomes a weapon of division? When the mantle of patriotism weighs heavier than the armor itself? Tonight on the USDN Podcast, we're talking with John Luzar. Nailed it. Writer of General Washington and the Liberty Tree, a Tom Clancy-style political thriller that asks, who owns America's symbol and who's allowed to wear them? It's a legacy of power, patriotism, and conflict, where an alien symbiote chooses its next host, and the burden of a divided nation falls on two men fighting for what's left of the American dream. John, welcome to the United States Department of Nerds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to be here.
How was that intro for you?
That is fantastic. Couldn't put it better myself. That's the pitch of the comic.
I do my best work when I'm doing an intro. So we're done here. I'll play it.
Absolutely. I like the opening video and everything too. It's very cool. Very cool.
Appreciate it. I owe that to my good buddy Black, who took care of me and made that for me. But let's start at the top, John. What is General Washington and the Liberty Tree, and where did this story come from?
Yeah, you put it really well yourself just a minute ago. It's just that idea that I think it's one of the things I love about superhero comics. It's very clear who the good guy is and who the bad guy is, and we're trying to conquer the world or rob a bank or get revenge. But in the real world, we are fighting over different things, and everybody thinks they're the good guy, and people with honest disagreements are the bad guy. And if we had superheroes, I think in the real world outside our window, we'd be spending more time fighting each other than you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Than that clarity of good guys and bad guys. So again, it's the idea that if anybody tried to be Captain America in the real world right now, half the country would hate you. Because we've got entirely different. I don't know. Do you watch Strange New Worlds, Star Trek Strange New Worlds?
No, I'm a Star Wars guy. I do like the older Star Trek, though. I'm a huge fan of the earlier stuff, so I will watch the older stuff.
It's fair. I highly recommend this show. But one of the early episodes, I'm not a huge Star Trek guy either, actually. But I guess there's a big nuclear war in Earth's past, right around now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I
think you're right. Right when I think it was 2025 is when the original Star Trek is the year I think it was supposed to take place.
Yeah, there's a huge, and in I think it's one of the first, might even be the first episode, but the captain is talking to this alien civilization that's on the brink of destroying themselves in a similar way, and the way he puts it is two dueling ideas about what freedom means, not good guys and bad guys, but two different ideas about what the right thing to do is. And that resonated with me so strongly because, you know, we've all got super strong opinions about these things, but you know, who decides what's right and wrong? Who decides what patriotism means?
Yeah, no, that it is weird to see us kind of like right back into, like, it feels like we're more divided now than we have been in quite some time with everything going on in the world. And I hate seeing it that way, because coming up in the military, we were all just one. Like, we
Sure.
were there for a job, and we didn't care about anything else. We'll do our job, we'll get our paycheck, and at the end of the day, we're going to go have a beer together, you know?
Absolutely.
And we bullshit about everything and anything and nothing in between, you know?
Yeah, no, that's definitely, and that's you know, that's kind of one of the things that I want to explore with the book, and what it would be like to you know, have to carry that weight.
Yeah.
You know, I think the other thing, and I love it about superhero comics, but like, you know, your basic superhero story, you get powers, you learn a quick lesson about power and responsibility. It, you know, it takes about 20 minutes, and then you're a good professional superhero for the rest of your life.
That's a good 2-issue spread, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe 3.
Yeah. I mean, the way they expand things now, they could do it for a year. Mark Waid could do and make it brilliant. But like, you know, if it happened to me, like if I got bit by a radioactive whatever, I would be so bad at it. Like, well, whatever, you know, what's like, I don't know.
I think 99% of us would stumble through it and just never figure it out.
Right. Like, it's also like, it's like, oh, I can lift a car now. It doesn't mean I've got hand-eye coordination. It doesn't mean I'm not
I would be the guy that dropped that car on my own toe.
That's exactly right. It'd be like Superman #1, only I'd drop it on myself. So that's another thing. Like, I just I thought about what it would be like to try to carry that weight, that mantle, and especially if you're just a guy. Like, he's not the character that we introduced in the first issue, Dale Gatner. He's just a, you know, he's a real everyman, not a Peter Parker everyman, but a real just like, oh man, what did I stumble into?
Yeah.
This is really, really hard. And you know, he wants to do his best. He wants to serve his country and help people and do the right thing. But you know, I just thinking about it right now, like it'd be a lot, man, you know?
It is a lot to swallow all at one time. So the very first General Washington is George Washington West.
Yes.
And he did that. He held that mantle for 65 years, from Normandy to Fallujah. He was the ideal superhero for the time. So he's gone now. 10 years of silence. And then it kind of felt like the tree just wouldn't. So let's back up. The Liberty Tree in this story is a symbiont, similar to Venom and any other symbiotes out there. But it's very selective on who it will basically bond with. Yes, thank you. And so I think that's one of the dopest ideas ever, by the way. It's really cool that there's a tree, the Liberty Tree, you know, is like, no, not this guy, next. You know, how did that come about?
You know, it's so funny because, like, you know, I'm trying to tell this story that I want to tell, and like the superpowers aspect is like I'll work out who's got what powers later. And again, with that sort of like idea I was just talking about of like, you know, the everyman thrust in a situation that he never asked for. The George Washington West, that original character, he's very like, don't tell Marvel, don't tell Disney, but it's a very like meant to evoke Steve Rogers, the kind of character. Just
oh, you 100% get that vibe when it shows the general, or I'm sorry, the George Washington West. It 100% felt like that, which is funny because this new comic book day, Captain America 1776 came out, and that Captain Marvel looks eerily similar to your George Washington West's character when it does the flashback to him.
Yeah, I bought that issue. I haven't had a chance to look at my comics yet. Yeah, like designing new superhero characters is tricky.
Oh yeah, I imagine I don't think there's a character out there today who really isn't influenced from a character of yesteryear. It's just hard. It's all been done.
Mm-hmm. One of the big processes of this project has been like, you know, pulling characters that are meant to evoke, you know, it's like you're supposed to look at this guy and think that's Captain America, that's Wonder Woman, that's the Flash.
Yep.
But that haven't been taken by by Marvel, by DC, by Astro City, by Image, by all of these worlds. And then I'm also, you know, I'm trying to pick up on some, because it's a book about patriotism in America, and just trying to pick up some characters from American history.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a speedster who has kind of an old time, like, I don't know if you watch old John Wayne movies.
Oh no, 100%. I grew up on that.
Yeah, but you know, he's got like the old cavalryman uniform, right?
Yep. And I did notice that, and I was wondering where the influence of that came from, and I'm glad you said John Wayne, because that's all my grandma watched growing up.
Yeah.
That and Bonanza and Gunsmoke. So as a kid, I'm sitting there going, "Hey, is Scooby-Doo on yet?" And she's like, "Sit your ass down and watch Gunsmoke, Grandma." Can I go outside then? It's raining. All right, Gunsmoke it is.
That's great. No, I love old westerns, and like, you know, you're trying to find stuff that hasn't been used, and you get an idea that it doesn't you know, it doesn't trigger anything in your memory. You go look on the internet, you type in superhero and then the name, and it's like, no, actually somebody in 1982 in Squadron Supreme #4 like used this name, so you can't have it. But we got the speedster, and like, I'm brainstorming names, came up with Thoroughbred, which is a pretty good name for a speedster.
It really is, yeah.
And somehow nobody's taken it. And then suddenly it's just like, oh, he can be a cavalryman, and like that blue and that yellow, that's such a great superhero look. And then the secret ingredient is our artist Jason Muir.
Yep.
I don't know if you've read By the Horns.
I have not. Is it a Western comic book?
No, it's a fantasy comic book.
Okay.
And it's put out by Scout. I've got my shop. They've got a really great independent shelf. Bro, he is such an incredible designer, and that book, he's designing not just humans, but like non-human creatures. There's unicorn, big floating eye. He's got such an incredible design sense, which is not something that even like, I mean, there are so many really successful pencilers who don't really design characters well, and I don't have a visual sense at all, so I'm not pointing the finger. But yeah, like, and he did so much great work, because we need the golden age version of the character, we need a modern version.
that was one of my favorite things about the book is the way it blended the two different eras during the flashback of
Mhm.
those scenes, especially when you got like the whole little, I don't want to say it was a Justice League, but it like the little Justice League from the flashback episodes in the book. I was like, this is so freaking cool. The
Yeah.
way is even the character design itself was very golden age. Then you had the very modern looking one, and I was like, I can get behind this. This is cool because I like that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And the golden age wasn't that long ago, so
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, I love that. Like, I mean, I got all this. I got all my merch and stuff, and like my friends always ask me, like, I don't. I love the movies, right? MCU,
mm,
but like when it comes to stuff I want in my house on my shelf, I just love those old, like official handbook of the Marvel Universe,
yeah,
right? Simple colors and designs. Like I know it doesn't look real. It's not supposed to. It's a comic book, and like
yeah.
I love all the things that they've done in the movies to help you suspend disbelief and make it look real, like the leather and the body armor. But it's not where my heart is.
No, yeah, it's hard, because I know a lot of people who still just prefer that era of comic book, the golden age. And
Mm-hmm.
here I am, like, I'm absolutely in love with the modern stuff because during the modern age, we got a lot more independent comics, and they don't have to have the dirt that the Marvel universe or the DC universe has to have. They're not restrictive. Character over here on the indie comic can say fuck. They can say damn. They can punch you in the face and watch your face explode. And we're going to get a full page of your head exploding. You're not going to get that in Marvel and DC. You get a little bit in like the DC Dark or the old Vertigo lineup. You would get that kind of stuff, but it was literally labeled 18 plus adults
Mhm.
on the old Vertigo stuff. So I've always found myself drawn more toward the independent scene of comic books. So,
Did you? I don't know. When did you get into comics? I started.
so I got into comics right around the time that Spawn was born. So like
Okay,
93.
exact same time, and like, I had a buddy who had the old. I don't even remember what it was called. They've done so many, but it was a Marvel Universe role playing game, and like
Yeah, yeah.
it's just all these characters, and I just fell in love immediately, and found a shop bookstore near my house that sold comics. Fell in love with Marvel, fell in love with DC, but um then I found Valiant.
Oh, that's a good one.
That
Yeah.
that early Valiant stuff. It's funny because you talked about like seeing a guy's head explode, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the first one of the first Valiant comics I bought, hardcore #1. The guy, because like the gimmick they had there with the powers was they've got all kinds of different powers, and they call into headquarters to switch them, right? And that created all kinds of fun action scenes, but they can only have one
Mm-hmm.
power at a time. And the climax of the first issue, I can't remember who wrote it or drew it, but the dude, he's got invulnerability on, like that's the power on that's
Yeah.
on. Got a big strong guy, got him in a bear hug, but he's invulnerable, so he can't, he can't hurt him. So he sticks his fist in the guy's mouth and has him switch to a power with a force field on his fist, and the dude's head explodes.
Yes.
And I'm in like 8th grade, and I love Fantastic Four, and I love the Avengers, and I love the X-Men, but
Mm-hmm.
that was like it was more adult and cool.
Yes. So that was me. I liked the darker, grittier comics that we got with the Valiants, and you know, well, Malibu was the first one that did the first Spawn before Todd started Image and started producing Spawn himself. And just anything like that I could get my hands on that was darker and grittier than what was going on in the rainbow world of Marvel and DC. Now, I did find Vertigo very early as well. So I have some earlier Vertigo stuff
Nice.
with, Neil Gaiman's writing and that kind of stuff. And he just told a gritty, dirty story, whether it's from a magic standpoint or just, something like that. And I fell in love with Hellblazer, Swamp Thing. And I'm just like, these dudes are gritty. And I never really liked Wonder Woman until I seen her in Justice League Dark when she was the leader of it.
I haven't read that one yet. I got a big hardcover.
I was gonna say, there's no way looking in your office that you don't have that one.
It's on my list. It might be next. Would you believe I didn't read my first Hellblazer comic until like 2 years ago. Cy Spurrier did something with a mermaid.
Yeah.
And now there's like
Spurrier's run is so good.
Yeah, he's a good writer.
Oh, dude. Yes, that's all I can like. And then Gaiman's influence. I know a lot of people have gone away from Gaiman due to recent allegations and stuff like that. But I'm never going to take away from the fact that the dude is just such a damn good writer and brought us so many characters that are unforgettable within that universe. So no, absolutely 100%. Besides, there's something about his Hellblazer run that is just absolutely special. And I actually ended up getting it in hardback because I couldn't find individual issues because they're just so hard to get your hands on.
Yeah, I read because I still when I started making comics, I became more interested in independent stuff. He did a book called Alienated for Boom, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just and like I love these different takes on superhero themes, and kind of trying to do something similar with my book. Just a little something that people will find familiar and hopefully a little off the beaten path, like you're talking about.
It's off the beaten path, but in a very good way. Like, I know we were talking before we went live how I am very much against like the discussion of politics, but the approach that your book took to that, it's not divisive. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't try to have the political unrest like some of the heavy political comics will do. So how did you go about like finding that happy medium in this book to kind of like, I don't want to piss off these people. I don't want to piss off these people. I just want something down the middle to where it could unite both sides of that political fence, so to speak.
Yeah, that's really tough because, of course, I have super specific political beliefs that I won't get into on your show, brother.
I read it on your blog, which was really cool to see. The mask for me was like, I'm like, I like this guy. Just the mask and the coffee cup.
Yeah. It's that's a long story, but like you gotta.
We'll save that one for another time. Let's talk about General Washington.
Yeah, you got to be able to poke fun at yourself. No, so I come from theater, and there is nothing in the world like bad political theater. Like, trust me, like we've seen bad political movies and bad political comics.
Oh yeah.
And it's just because it's cheaper. It's just easier to put on a bad political play. And people have they have the best of intentions because you've got a point of view and you want to share it and you want people to think like you, so you tell a story. And the easiest thing in the world is to just do a story where like, oh, the people who think like me are good, they're virtuous, they're brave, they're funny, and people who don't think like me are terrible, awful, cowardly people who do vicious, terrible things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to read scripts for a submission process for I live in Chicago. I used to read scripts for a explicitly political theater company. And, I learned so much because I read I read scripts ranging from like, oh, this is really amazing to like, don't quit your day job, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's where
And
my grandparents are from originally. Is from Chicago.
nice. Yeah, my dad grew up here too, years and years ago, in the 30s. But and you just learn that the stuff that is preachy and simplistic like that, it's not effective in
Yeah.
terms of evoking emotion. Like it, believe me, as somebody, like, I can get up on my high horse and waggle my finger and preach, and it doesn't, if you're talking to somebody who already agrees with you about stuff, it's it's nice to jerk that chain now and then. But for for the purposes of drama, for creating
Mhm.
story, you need to be able to get inside the head of people who don't think like you and see where they're coming from, and not just villainize them, because that might, on a level, it feels good, but it doesn't contain a lot of truth. There aren't a lot of people who think like, I'm going out there to do something bad, right?
Yeah, and there's that small piece from both sides of the wall that are that way.
Yeah. And there's a time, but no, it's like there's it's I want to, there's a scene in a book, there's a scene in the comic that takes place at a bar, and I've got a narrator who stands in for my beliefs to a certain extent. And
No, I thought that part was really cool. The bar scenes.
Mhm.
I thought that was a really cool thing to do.
And it is, it's just, he's got a point of view, and he's kind of a jerk about it, and he's our narrator, and we're supposed to like him, but at the same time, he's rude and dismissive of a guy,
Mhm.
and he ends up hurting his feelings and chasing him out of the room, and thinking maybe that wasn't the best, maybe that wasn't a good choice.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't understand where he's coming from, which is part of the journey he's going to go on throughout this story, because he's Gene's got a little bit of a short temper, and as somebody whose short temper has gotten him into a few situations over the years, that's something he probably needs to work on.
That's a Chicago thing, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, you just try to be fair and compassionate and empathetic towards everybody, because people think they're doing the right thing, whatever they do. And we bump up against each other. Life is hard,
Got to be harder.
yeah.
So when this alien symbiote, the Liberty Tree, finally bonds with its new host, Dell, the dude's not exactly Captain America 2.0. He's definitely on a different learning curve than Captain America was, that's for sure. So walk us through that. Like what was you going into this, like how am I going to let the Liberty Tree, the symbiote, pick its new host? Like, what kind of walk us through that, like how you landed on that?
Yeah, that's actually one of the big, hopefully, and I'm glad you're curious about it, because I want that to be one of the big mysteries of the book that everybody's trying to solve. Basically, the idea is the character we've been talking about, the Golden Age version, George Washington West, he died about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We're telling the story of the flashbacks of his death. And
let's add in, this symbiote does kind of extend the life of the host. So I don't because it's weird when we're talking about from Normandy to Fallujah, and you're like, well, this guy just died 10 years ago, and then I don't want people scratching their head going, wait, what? How does that math don't math? The host, the Liberty Tree, when it picks its new host, it does extend the life of the host.
Comic book science, man.
Gotta love it. It's like bro science, but better.
So much better. You get bit by a radioactive spider, you die. Yeah, no. So the idea is that when he dies, when the original dies about 10 years before the story takes place, the symbiont just won't bond with anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And the government tries everything that they can think of. And as you can imagine, like, invests billions and billions of dollars just trying to get a new General Washington, get a new superhero. We wanted to do a world like, unlike a Marvel or a DC where there's just a limitless supply of superpowered beings.
Mm-hmm.
We really want like around 20 or 30 in the whole universe here, so that like the emergence of a new superhuman is just a major shift in the balance of power.
Yeah, it's newsworthy.
Absolutely. It's not like, oh, there's, Toast Man and he's got the power to toast, and not the best example, but you get what I'm getting at.
We get where you're going with it.
Yeah.
But can he butter the bread evenly is the important part of Toast Man.
You need butter knife man, and they're a team. I'll write that next. But so co-creator, we'll work out the
We're
rights.
gonna need the writing credits on that one.
Yeah. We'll divvy up the rights when we're off the air. So the idea is that it's been 10 years, and during that time, America hasn't had a superhero, and so we just feel vulnerable. We would, if we had a superhero for years and years and years, and suddenly,
especially if every other major power player has their own.
Yeah, like the idea, and we'll tell this story in future issues, like over the circumstances surrounding his death, the Justice League characters that we were talking about earlier leave the United States too. It's in an early draft. I used it's corny, it didn't work, but I used the Liberty Society of America, and then they became the Liberty Society International. Of course, that's referencing all those great Giffen DeMatteis comic. And I wish I could have ended up using that, because it's such a clear. That's another thing. Like in the real world, if you were the Justice League of America and then you became the Justice League International, that would piss a lot of people off.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, we had a West Coast League, at one point. Well, I think they just finished their run of that one, but it was like they only serviced the West Coast.
Yeah. So it's about that long absence, and we'll tell this story in issue 3. But like Dale Gatner is he's an every guy. He's me. And again, you could give me all the superpowers in the world, but I wouldn't be able to do the job. But
and we see Dell in this book take a superb ass whipping.
Absolutely.
I mean, he gets his guy, but the boy took himself an ass whipping.
Yeah. It's so interesting, because you don't see that a lot.
Yeah, so when you see him like kind of like on they show the picture of him, his faces are all bloody and beat to shit, and he's just kind of like
just trying. It's so and Jason, again, like, he's so good at capturing, you're used to seeing your superheroes as a badass, right? And that's what and like he's just very good at capturing a little more vulnerability. And I think seeing a little bit more fear in your superhero's eyes. You're not used to it. And again, like, if it was me, I'd like
it was reminiscent of Superbad, if you read that, like the actual comic book, the Vigilantes.
I don't think I know that one.
Oh, I think, was it Superbad? The one with the Vigilantes? I think that was it.
I don't know.
Well, I want to say it's from Image, but they made it into a movie.
You think of Kick-Ass?
Kick-Ass, that's it. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kick-Ass. Superbad has some of the same actors in it. You're right. It's Kick-Ass because it's got Nick Cage in it, and that's probably my favorite role Nick Cage has ever done. But very much that element of like this dude just takes a supreme ass whipping, but still gets his guy.
Nice. Yeah.
So, have you read that?
I read that when it was.
It's actually not bad, and the movie did a really good job of kind of bringing that to the screen.
Yeah,
so definitely one to check out later.
On my list. Excuse me.
So while we're thinking about this, or rather while I'm thinking about this, how did the Liberty Tree come about exactly? Because I don't remember it being touched on.
Excuse me, I'm coughing. How did that come about? I just I'm telling a story about symbols.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about the powers. And it's like that stuff didn't come as naturally to me. And I know that it's you know what it was. Once upon a time, like, and this was like this was quite a while ago when I was working on this, and the story was different and going in a different place. I was like, this is going to be like a spiritual successor to Maximum Carnage. You read that?
Oh yeah.
And like that book, like it's so funny because like when I read it when it was out, and I just loved it. And then I've got the trade on this shelf back here, and I've read it 3 or 4 times, and it's actually
I gotta go pick up the trade because I haven't read that in so long. I have to go hit up one of the secondhand bookstores around here and find that one. And like, it was good.
It's so good, and like for like like 8th grade me, it was awesome. But then reading it again as an adult, it's actually this like there's this great theme to it, and it's about this previous traditional generation of don't kill superheroes versus a more violent Venom and and Morbius. There's actually, and it's one of my favorite moments in comics when Spider-Man's he's got his ass kicked and he's down, and the last page turn, the splash page at the end of the issue is Captain America, Steve Rogers there to join his side and give him a hand up. And that's the feeling I want this book to have, because we are at each other's throats about what is patriotism, who owns the flag, but there is still something that we can all rally around and unite in, because like that moment, like that Steve Rogers helping Peter Parker to his feet.
Yeah. I know exactly which one you're talking about too. I think that was one of the ones I read probably around the same time you read it as well.
Yeah. So like in terms of the powers, like it's like I need a power. For legal reasons, he can't have a shield, of course.
Yeah.
And I thought like a symbiont, and like, but how do you make it different?
Yeah.
And so the idea of making it plant-like, which I think is something Jason does like such a great job of. Like sometimes it just looks like a big old tree trunk, but he's also got a sense of like I don't have the best visual sense. I just have to. I have to be, when I'm writing, I have to see something so that I know I'm not telling him to draw something that can't be drawn.
Yeah.
But to actually work with such a great artist who's got that sense, and to see where he goes with it. Like this idea was just so vague in my head, but the way he brings it to life, just like you can see it transforming and moving.
So yeah, that was honestly when you kind of see like the tree kind of envelop him a little bit, and then you realize that as he's throwing punches, it's like the tree is extending and hardening his fist in those punches.
Yeah.
And I was like, Damn, that's kind of cool. I like that because it's so different.
Yeah, and another thing that I think Jason does a killer job of, one of the things we talked about to draw the distinction between Dale, the new guy, and George Washington West, the original, is like Dale is not good at this, so he's got
Oh no,
so
he needs all the help he can get.
He needs all the help he can get, so he's just got big, sloppy, clumsy constructs. And there's a panel. A lot of this is on the Kickstarter page. So if anybody listening wants to check it out, this is in our preview art. Like the original guy, he can jump around the room and like whip it around like he's been doing it his whole life, which he has. But Dale is just, I've got a big hammer. It's like the difference between like Silver Age Green Lantern stuff and Kyle Rayner Green Lantern stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, I'm digging around for symbols and trying to put this guy's whole visual identity together. And I'm just on the internet looking for stuff, and I'm looking at quotes, and the Liberty Tree thing fits so perfecly.
It does, yeah.
Because of that quote, it's all over the book. We actually we're sending the book to the printer, and we put this quote on the back of the book. Thomas Jefferson: "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants." Right?
Mm-hmm.
Badass quote. And it works so well for us here because who decides who's the patriot and who's the tyrant, right?
Yep.
That's what the book is about. So it just, in the same way that like we were talking about a little while ago with the cavalryman named Thoroughbred.
Yeah. And then you had the one guy who was the robot. You got it's a suit. It's like an Iron Man.
Don't tell Disney.
But it's very different, though. It was very different set of everything. Very different look to it. And then George Washington West, his wife, is very much like the Homelander's the female Homelander, basically.
Yeah, she's a little
not the Nazi one, the other one.
Yeah,
a little Wonder Woman-ish. I didn't want to say Wonder Woman, but. But no, it's just a really, really cool team that was assembled there together. And the powers are really cool, very unique to the individual. And honestly, if you went back and did a prequel comic with just the Golden Age looking characters, would be dope as hell. I would be all over that in a heartbeat as well.
And if the book takes off, like I have plans. I definitely have plans for that Iron Man guy.
Yeah, that dude, he was, yeah. That the Indian
Coyote,
yes.
Yeah. That's there's a whole backstory there that I'll get to one of these days.
It was just so cool because it's like you had the modern story going, and then you kind of get this really cool flashback, and you see all this whole new, the old school characters, and you're like, man, these guys are cool. And then we're stuck with Dale Gatner.
Yeah.
In the modern day. Good old Dale.
And that poor guy. Like, again, just imagine if it was you. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, yeah. So how did I know, I don't know how far we got in discussing it, but how did the tree go? Dale's my guy.
We're gonna tell that story, slowly.
Okay, so we won't touch it. I don't want you to give nothing away too soon.
But again, like what we do, like it's good that you wonder, because like everybody in this world is trying to figure that out, because we don't have, oh, don't worry, we'll just get another superhero because it's intellectual property. It's like, no, there's like a handful of these people. This symbiont is a major national security asset.
So yeah, where's the tree actually located in the book? Like within the world? It's
in the custody of the United States government, and there's going to be conflict over that, because the character we discussed earlier, his wife, Marcia Ultrix.
Mhm.
You know, she thinks quite reasonably, I would argue, that as George West's, you know, heir, next
Yeah.
of kin, that it should go to her, but the United States government took possession of it, and you know, like you don't want that.
It's one of those things where this power is like absolutely bonkers to be in the hands of just a everyday Joe.
Yeah.
And Dell comes off as like, I don't know. I'm very off stretching this, but Dell was the drunk security guard who accidentally stumbled in, and the tree was like, Dell's my guy. He just was like, hey, come here, Dell.
You're not super far off.
I'm just throwing it out, dude, because that, like, in my head, that's all I can see is like Dell was the night security guard. He was still a little bit nippy from the night before, and he comes in, and the tree's like, Dell, that's my guy right there.
And like, why? You know, it doesn't. You know, it's
Nothing special about Dell. He's got 2 divorces and 3 kids.
That's right. And you know, and he works hard, but yeah, man. And imagine, imagine if you're working for the government, and like, we'll see some of this coming up, because they want, I was like, they want to put it on on the best of the best, like, the elite military guys, but
yeah, the tree is like, nah,
nothing works. I had a scene that I haven't actually been able to work into the story anywhere. It's actually one of the first scenes that came to me, just the notion of sitting down with the guy we talked about earlier, Gene Fuller. He's our narrator, and he's like a Rick Jones figure, kind of grown up and grown old, like wanted to be a teen sidekick in the and now he's like an older guy and sort of the self-appointed guardian of the General Washington legacy, right? And like just sitting down in a room with Dale and another character who will pop up a little later, and just trying anything in the world to like what could explain this, like George liked pancakes. Do you like pancakes? No. Do you like James Taylor? I like James Taylor. I like James. Maybe it's James Taylor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a mystery, and trying to figure out what makes the symbiont choose is something that the characters will be just.
Is that something you will touch on later in another issue on how kind of like the symbiote's thinking on like how he wants to do this, or what his thoughts are into why he picks who he picks to be his host?
I mean, I know exactly where it's going. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. No, it's one of those where I love the way you did it, because you kind of gave us where we're at today. But by the time you get to the end of it, I'm like, I have so many questions.
Good. Well, hopefully enough.
Which means you did your job. So
hopefully enough to make you want to buy issue 2.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. So. Let's talk about this powerhouse team that you assembled to bring this book to life. So we have Jason Muir on art, Arthur Hesley on colors, Mika Myers on letters, Sean Manning did your editing, and then Kelly Williams is also doing an alternate cover for this book. And Mika Myers letters for quite a few companies, because that name is very familiar.
Yeah, he's he is an indie comics powerhouse. He does
Zenscope.
Yeah, I found him. He was looking for work on Twitter.
Yeah.
I click I think it's portfolio day hashtag something, and Yeah, and then Sean, I suggested him when we were looking for a letter. Sean Manning, our editor, I brought up, it's like, oh, I saw this guy online, and Sean went, oh, he's great. And we
when I seen his name, I was like, I'm pretty sure I know who that is. I'm pretty sure I probably have 30 or 40 books lettered by him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He works a lot. And I'm like I said, I came from theater, right? And God bless all of these collaborators for bearing with me, because this is the visual storytelling of comics. Like it hasn't come naturally to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you look at the first couple of books I've made, that would absolutely prove it.
Yeah, I have those written down here to talk about those a little bit too.
Yeah. So I'm just very lucky to be working with people who can help me out in that aspect. And
well, you know what they say, right? Surround yourself with people smarter than you.
And that's most people.
100%. 100% the best. All the best leaders will surround themselves with people smarter than themselves.
Yeah, I mean, like there's just like I love trying this new thing and learning new stuff. It's my favorite. But there's a lot I don't know. Just one example, when I'm establishing like some of the antagonists, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to establish that some of the younger guys were like doing a more like they're Confederacy themed bad guys, right?
Yeah, they're domestic terrorists.
They're domestic terrorists. And I wanted to establish that like these new younger guys, that they were initially like corny 60s. Like if you ever read like old Marvel comics, like stuff like the Sons of the Serpent, it's wonderful, admirable stuff, with a little social justice cause in it, but it's also kind of corny. Like, we're racist and we dress up like snakes.
Absolute Batman yearly just literally burned an entire house full of these people to the ground.
Yeah, it's very, very controversial.
I mean, and the Absolute Batman is an absolute freaking unit to begin with. So
absolutely. That's Daniel Warren Johnson, right?
Oh yeah, DWJ, dude.
He's
Scott Snyder.
Right, Scott Snyder. Daniel Warren.
But I think he did the art. Yeah.
That guy's incredible.
DWJ is phenomenal. Like that Wolverine cover he did a couple of months back.
I think I missed it.
Oh, dude, you missed a classic. That book, I think it was like on the shelf $9.99. Like you weren't paying less. It might have been more.
Nice.
Might have been $19.99, but the book is still like $50 right now. And that's like today.
He's worth
the
it,
first month. It was like $100 at one point.
Ooh,
that's raw, ungraded, as it sits, bag and board.
Crazy. I mean, he's
worth every dollar.
I think the first thing I read of his was that Beta Ray Bill book.
Dude, yeah, I think that's most people's first, and they don't know it's him. Because I think that was one of the very first books that kind of like introduced us to him.
Yeah, because like I'm a huge Marvel nerd, and like second, third rate characters, third tier, let's say, like Beta
definitely
Ray,
a third tier. Yeah,
but
he's so beloved.
Beta
Ray Bill is just like one of these beloved characters. Like if you see a giant camel or moose wearing Thor's armor, and you're like, who? Oh, that's Beta Ray Bill. Come on, guy, get with it.
That's how you know you love superhero comics. Like you look at that guy and it's like, yes, I want lots more of this.
I'm the same way with Howard the Duck. I absolutely love Howard the Duck, and it's been one of my life goals. Anytime I come across something related the Howard the Duck. I'm like, I can't not go home with that.
I should have worn my Howard the Duck T-shirt for this.
I had one for a while. It got washed one too many times.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I put on a little weight since I retired, so it didn't quite fit anymore anyway.
Yeah. No, I read that. It's here someplace. I read that omnibus during the pandemic. Steve Kerber, man.
Yep.
The insane talent.
It's just he's such a fun character too. But let's focus on General Washington. I'm sorry, we got distracted with that. Let's talk about the team, man.
Yeah. Okay. So Jason, again, I found By the Horns, and like, I'm not kidding. Like, rush right out. It is maybe the prettiest comic book I've ever read.
You nailed it, and he's so good at both styles, the modern, the golden. He done a very good job of combining those.
Yeah, the styles, and again, like it's like I needed such specific stuff, and he knocked it out of the park and put up with me, which isn't nothing. No, I did. Well, on my last one shot, which was quite a while ago, I hired him to do an alternate cover, and it was just first draft, got it, and like it's great. When the time came to put the team together, he was at the top of the list, and he was available, and I'm the luckiest boy in the world.
We could all be so lucky. So, do you know how long you're planning on to run this book? Are you planning on like 3 issues, a 5? Or is it one of those where you'll let the audience let you know when they're kind of tired of it?
So when I was putting the team together, one of the people I talked to gave me just a life-changing piece of advice. Because I do, like, when you talk about like why did the symbiont choose who it chose, like that's a moment at the very end of the story that I want to tell. And I was talking to a dude, and he told me, like, what you want to do is, like, you've got your Star Wars, you want to carve out your A New Hope.
Yeah.
Something with a beginning, a middle, and an end that you can start with, because nobody knows who I am. And people, I buy my comics based on knowing the art team, and so like it's an uphill battle. So for putting the story together and eventually hopefully looking for a publisher for it, we've got an opening 4-issue arc. Again, like when this guy told me do your A New Hope, it was like the sky parted, because I'm staring down this, like, this is going to take me 12, 15 issues. How am I going to be able to afford that and put it all together? So 4 issues for this first opening arc.
Okay. No, that's a good round number.
Yeah. And if we're lucky enough to find an audience and people want more, I'm happy to provide it. We'll see. We'll see what we'll see.
No, you got a great team with you, and I think you've found that little piece of knowledge, that little nugget that you needed to kind of go, all right, I know how to do this now. I think I have this figured out. And like I said, you have a really good team around you, and thankfully they're a team that knows how to work together, because the lettering was amazing, the colors fantastic, the art, the story, everything just works and flows together. And I say this 100 times, I'll say it 100 more. It's the most neglected thing about comic books, and that's your letter, and they will make you or break you. Yeah, and you've got a great letter on top of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like that's one of those things that I don't understand super well. I'm reading and trying to learn a little more, but like, we've all backed Kickstarters where like, oh, this doesn't look like a comic book, and it really undermines experience. Want to shout out Arthur as well. Came recommended by a writer that I know, and like again, by the horns, which I keep bringing up. Get it? It's so it's beautiful, but it's brightly colored, like super bright, and like that's just not quite right for this book.
Mm-hmm.
We want it to look a little bit
down to earth,
little more down to earth, and like that was the instruction that we talked about with Arthur right up front, and again, just sort of instinctively,
it looks like the real world,
and
that's perfect for this book, and what I think you're going for with this book, and it's I absolutely loved it. It fit, everything fit together, like, and like we talked earlier, like this book could have easily like done this and divided people. It didn't do that at all. It just towed the line very well in the story. So, and that's one of those things where I can greatly appreciate, because it's hard to do, because you have a certain belief system, and oftentimes when you're reading a comic book, that bleeds through, and you can tell kind of where the author or the writer of the story is kind of like, I know what way he goes, and you did not do that. And I can't imagine like you just sitting there going, damn, and then your editor going, hey dude, did you really mean it to say like that? So shout out to the editors of the world, because those people can make and break you too.
Yeah, and Sean is fantastic. Keeps good eye on me and on everybody. Helped us out. Sean helped us find Kelly Williams for the alternate cover, who is wonderful and just has that, he does a lot of horror stuff.
That's my heart right there. I love a good horror comic book.
Love
them.
Yeah. And like, in that alternate cover, which is selling really well for us, check it out on Kickstarter. It's a little bloodier than the main book, a little dirtier. And I think
that's my favorite type right there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm such a huge fan of these types of books, of Kickstarters and the indies, man.
Yeah.
Just, you want it dirty, you want it gritty, you want it to say fuck 4, 5, 6 times, go for it, because you can do it and get away with it.
Yeah, that's right. It's no accountable to no one but myself.
Exactly. And I had read just saying fuck that many times reminded me of a comic book I had read not that long ago. It's like the main character of the comic book, like every time something would happen, you could see him just go. It was just the way the art was done, and just the way the lettering was done of that book. It was just, it made it funny in a more serious book, where he was just kind of like, every 2 to 3 page on like a random panel, he's just like, you're like, yes.
I know that feeling.
Oh, we all do. I have to pause and do that a few times a day. So you described this kind of as a Tom Clancy meets Astro City, like tactical realism meets some moral complexity. How did you keep the story grounded outside of, we know you have a really strong editor. How did you, while still, you still managed to hit this cosmic superhero scale? And like, how did you keep all that like together,
Well, I try to lean on that theater background. One of the I used to be an actor, not a very good one. But the job is to get inside everybody's head and just put yourself in the situation and look at it from everybody's point of view. And really, you just have to really spend time, because again, the first temptation, the easy road is like, you're just a piece of shit, so I'm gonna make you a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But you gotta spend some time thinking like, no, like what actually is it like to be this person right now. So like all that's part of my writing process every time. Just you do it from one character's point of view and write out what they do, and then you switch hats, which is tricky sometimes.
Yeah.
But then you see like, okay, well that's what this guy says. Well, what's it like to hear that? What's it like to be on the receiving of that? I always, I start with myself. Like, how does that? That which is an old acting trick. The place. And I had a great acting teacher, and she would always, if you were struggling with a moment, she would always ground you by saying, how does this make you, not the character, you, John Luzar, the actor, how does this make you feel right now?
Yeah.
And you just answer that question for yourself.
Great advice.
Oh, it's so like it's so simple.
Yeah.
But
and sometimes it's just about keeping it simple.
Yeah, definitely. So that's what I try to do. Hopefully it works.
So you're running this campaign through Resistance Comics. Is that like your personal brand, or is that like somebody you just have with you? Like, or is that your brand?
Yeah, I mean it's my brand, to the extent that it's a brand.
Well, I mean, I can say the same thing about USDN. That's why there's a chairman, because I can't do this forever. And if my name's associated with something, they're like, oh, that's so-and-so's. But if it's the chairman, then the name the chairman can be passed to the next generation of the United States Department of Nerds. So that's why it's a brand, right? So you can pass the Resistance Comics to somebody else if you ever decided that's something that you wanted to do.
And if anybody wants it. Talking about teams, I want to put in another plug.
No, please.
The dude who created the Resistance Comics logo and has created,
which Facebook and Instagram both whited out.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know. It's a weird, like, that graphic that I'm sorry.
And I can see why they tried to do that, but at the same time I'm kind of like, I see it, but I don't see what they're trying to do. Because it doesn't really annotate anything. It's just I don't like understand. A random logo,
I don't understand why anybody does anything, brother.
Yeah.
But the guy who did that logo for us, and the guy who did the cover logo for this book and the other books on the Kickstarter, his name is Winston Gambro. He makes comics of his own too, but really top-notch logo designer.
Yeah.
If anybody at home listening needs one,
plug away, dude.
Gambro, very, 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 very cool guy, and very good at his job.
I like it. I will never get mad at somebody plugging somebody who helped get them to where they are today. So we started going down this road. Not your first rodeo. You've done Marguerite versus the Occupation, and you've also done Odd Yarns.
Yeah.
So how did you kind of take those two projects and took what you learned from those two and kind of applied it to, General Washington and the Liberty Tree? And honestly, I've seen, what was it? I'm sorry. Marguerite versus the Occupation looks so fun. Like, just such a cool looking comic book, by the way.
Yeah. And it was Casey Cavedo, another great artist who was wonderful in that book. So the truth of the matter is, like I was talking about a little while ago, about how visual storytelling doesn't naturally to me. The first two comics I made and kickstarted are, they're not for sale on this Kickstarter because they're not that good. And coming from theater, I'm a words first kind of guy, and that's not really what comics are about. I used to do, when I wanted to try doing this, I took classes online at Comics Experience, and and I made a couple of books, and I was talking with him and getting some advice, and he told me, because I've had this idea, General Washington, in different forms that for a long time.
Mhm.
And he just kind of told me point blank that I wasn't quite ready because I didn't I just didn't have my head wrapped
Yeah.
around the
It's
visual.
very humbling, but sometimes that humbling is what you need to kind of take that step back and refocus and then go forward.
I mean, it wouldn't have done me any good to do this project before I knew enough about the medium to do
Yeah.
it right. And if I invested all the time and money in it, and it was still a pretty long and at
Mhm.
times daunting process.
Yeah.
But so Marguerite was just like the goal was to just it's like one big action scene. The
Mhm.
gimmick is it's the end, towards the end of World War II, and there's a young French girl, Marguerite, and she's coming home to the house she abandoned during the occupation to because she wants to be there when it's liberated by the advancing Allied army. House up on the top of the hill, right where she grew up. And when she gets there, she sees because it's on top of the hill, there's a German machine gun nest
Yep. Still occupied.
still occupied, and it's in her bedroom. And so she has to do something about that, and that's what the comic is about.
It looked fun. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll send you a copy, man. I'm real proud of it. Real proud of it. Talking about the team. It's funny. I the colorist I worked with on that, her name is Laurel Dundee, and you should look her up because like she
Okay.
has a website, and it's not superhero stuff at all, but it's really cool artwork, and the coloring is not it's not like a superhero book, but
Yeah. So a lot of my favorite artists don't touch superheroes at all.
yeah.
So
And
it's crazy to think about because I mean, you have people like Luana Vecchio who did Lovesick. Her art's just absolutely amazing. Tula Latte out of the UK. Her work, she does a lot of work for Distillery. She does a lot of covers for like Boom and Dynamite and that kind of stuff. Just absolutely phenomenal artwork. Her use of colors and
yeah.
like abstract colors, just phenomenal stuff. And that's just to name two. I don't even want to get too deep into that because we'll literally be here all night talking about it.
Yeah, there's so much to know, man.
It really is. It's so deep and so rich right now.
Yeah. But like, so that was that book was on a certain level, just like me, just like, okay, let's learn this lesson.
Yeah.
And I think it paid off, and like it's again coming from this world where we do everything with dialogue, like more than film. Like you watch a movie, you listen to a play, right? Like dialogue it's going to be my first instinct for the rest of my life, whether I want it to be or not.
Yeah.
So to tell a story was like, no, the climax is an image, not a line of dialogue, but like to learn to tell a story that way, like that's what
it's the image and the story advances. The words advance the image.
Yeah. It's not my.
It's the exact opposite of what you're used to.
Yeah. Because I like to do things the easy way. but the book's
always easy to hit the easy button.
Yeah. But the book turned out really well. And
no, like I said, I seen it on the Kickstarter and I was like, ooh, what's this one?
Yeah, it's just a nice, sweet little, I called it an action fable, mostly because that sounds cool.
No, it really is. I like that.
Yeah. Somebody asked me about that in an interview, like, why did you call it an action fable? And I'm like, because it sounded
cool.
Doesn't it though? Plus I always wanted to tell like World War II stories. I love that stuff. John Wayne
Dude,
movies.
you know what would be really cool? It's just a book about that kind of stuff, like those little action fables, so to speak, about that time frame, and just shoved together where it's like 5, 6, 7 different stories of just like 2 or 3 page stories, and it's just like little little stories like that where you have this girl's like, they're in my home. Oh no. We gonna fix this.
Yeah.
And you see this young teenage girl, going up against the Nazi occupation of her home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody out there, we need that in our lives.
Absolutely. I'll make more as soon as I have the time.
No, that would be really dope.
Yeah, it's a beautiful comic. It's available as an add-on and a rewards tier on this Kickstarter. Highly recommend you check it. I'm super proud of that one.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's where we're at in the interview, my friend. So let's talk about the Kickstarter. We have the book, have the digital book. You have the alternate cover. What else can people expect in the Kickstarter?
For right now, like I'm just focused on the books. I would love to do merch someday. For right now, I'm just like I'm at the stage of building the readership, one reader at a time.
Yeah, get your audience.
Yeah. So the most popular tier has been Kelly's alternate cover. And then you can get Marguerite versus the Occupation, which we just talked about, and the other one shot called
Odd Yarns,
which
would look really unique too. But it looked more of a fun story. But I'm not sure. Tell us a little bit about that one before we drag too far along.
Yeah, that one was. I don't know if you see. He does a lot of indie stuff. He's done Kickstarter for Lane Lloyd. I'm
not off the top of my head. I'll have to look him up.
Lane is neat. Has a really great kind of Kirby, kind of cartoony, dark humor style, and again
like Scotty Young.
Yeah, kind of. And I was I was online, and Lane was looking for work, and sometimes is another thing doing theater. We do these little festivals, just make something as quick as you can, write a play in 24 hours and we'll rehearse it in 24 hours and we'll put it up, kind of thing. So I just thought, what if I take this artist up on their availability and make a comic? And I thought the art style would be good to pair with Silver Age superheroics.
Yeah.
So the idea I came up with was to do a tribute to the old Marvel Strange Tales books.
Those were so good.
Do you remember because you get into comics in the 90s, right? And it's cool and it's awesome, and you get interested enough to start looking backwards a little bit.
Yeah.
And Kirby is cool and it's awesome, and you find all this good stuff, and then you find Strange Tales.
Yeah.
And
Strange Tales birthed some really great stuff that we're just now really seeing today, like Groot.
Yeah. But
Groot was born in that.
Yeah. And you got the Ditko Doctor Strange and the Steranko Nick Fury, and it's just mind blowing. Steranko Nick Fury might be my favorite stuff. So I just thought, let's do a tribute to that. Strange Tales, Odd Yarns. I'm very subtle. And just what if Doctor Strange and Nick Fury switched jobs? So there's a hard-nosed World War II sergeant who's fighting mystical battles, and a nerdy surgeon type who becomes an agent of
Fury, so to speak.
Yeah. And then we did the whole gimmick with fake ads and stuff, which was fun.
The ads were so good in those books, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you can almost just go back and read some of those books and just enjoy the hell out of the ads, because the story may be hit or miss, but the ads were always going to be amazing.
Yeah. So I like when you can get a reprint that reprints all of it. It's rare.
When they do the actual newsstand.
Yeah, it's fun. So that book, it's a little lighter. It's fun. I think it turned out really well. We published it Marvel Comics Presents style.
Yeah.
So it's a flip book. So we were able to get 2 covers and 2 alternate covers. The other one, which you can get on the Kickstarter, is a great cover by Alex Cormack, who, if you like horror, man, the best. I'm not a big horror guy, but I read Alex's stuff because he's so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the other. Those are our other rewards.
I like it. You kept it simple. You didn't overdo it too much too soon. You never want to do that. You want to really establish an audience, and then on the next couple, you can throw out the T-shirt or something along those lines to go with it. So no, you're doing it right.
One of these days.
Exactly. So for the listeners out there, this campaign is live until the 20th.
Yeah, 20th, probably at midnight. So we got about a week.
So, and you can find this book simply by going to Kickstarter. If you just start typing in General Washington and the and symbol, and it's going to be one of the first ones to pop up. And go give it a look. If it's something that sparks your interest, then back the comic book. It's really that simple on Kickstarter. It's honestly, and if you don't want to back the actual book itself, you can always donate a couple of dollars. There's always that one option on there that says, hey, yeah, I like the book, but funds aren't there. But hey, here's $1 for you to use toward whatever it is. And this is one of the first books I've had on the podcast that is actually done already. And we're running a Kickstarter so you can get the book print off to the printer.
Yeah, I like to. This is our 5th Kickstarter. I'd like to have it done just so, so there's no, no risk, no like, it'll be ready in a year and a half, maybe. It's like, no, we're done, we're ready, and we will have it in hands as soon as as soon as we've got it in ours.
I like it, man. That's how it should be. But I, of all people, I have done so many Kickstarter interviews, and these are my favorite things to do, to the point that that's Kickstarters and independent creators are my bread and butter. And that's where I'm putting my love and follow behind, are these types of interviews here, because I enjoy the hell out of spotlighting people who you may not know today, but I want you to know them tomorrow, because by damn, they deserve the love. So before I let you get out of here, I'm going to hit you with a tough one. We're going to zoom out just a little bit. Superhero stories have always reflected who we think we are. From Superman's idealism to the Watchman's cynicism, now we're somewhere in between with this book. Where does General Washington and the Liberty Tree fit into that evolution?
I think you hit it right on the nose. Like, I'm shooting for something in the middle. Just because superheroes are walking symbols, right? There's like, you see the character, you see the name, the costume, and you put together pretty quickly who they are and what they're about. I want to get under the hood a little bit and deal with the human complexity of, and like, it's great to have this symbol that everybody, you see the symbol, you make the assumption, but there's a real person with feet of clay underneath it, and it's not as simple as, you fight the bad guy and on page 22 you beat him up and you go home with the girl. I love,
Unless you're Dale, you go home with a bloody face.
That's right, Dale. Poor Dale. He does. That's not his last.
He took that ass whipping like a champ, though. I'll give him that. He got his guy, but he took that ass whipping.
Yeah, and then he's got to decide, like, do I want to do this again? There's nobody else to do it. I guess I have to, but oh man, can we try something else, please? because that's what I think that's what most people will be like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not, not the, just sort of the place where that broad symbolism collides with the complexity of reality. Complexity is, that's where the interesting stuff is at.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, John, before I let you get out of here, tell everybody where they can find you.
I am at John _Luzar, Luzar, on the website formerly known as Twitter. You can find me under my name on Facebook. If you really want a lot more politics, you can check out my blog, showercapblog.com. It's not for everybody.
It really isn't, but the picture it's phenomenal. The profile picture on the website. If you don't go there to read it, go there just to see the profile picture because it is that amazing.
I agree.
All right, John. So, all right, everybody. That's all the time we have for tonight. John, you've been amazing. What's coming up next for me on the 15th? I'll be back here with Giuseppe. He is the artist who did Shock-Headed Peter Volume 1 and Volume 2. And I can almost guarantee you he's going to do Volume 3. He'll be joining us right here on the 15th, fresh as a daisy in Italy, because he will be up all day and I will just have been waking up. So you can expect that one at 10 a.m. I believe it was, let me check again. Yep, we're going 10 a.m. Eastern time, which is 4 p.m. in Italy. So he will probably be waking up from his fiesta. Or siesta, I should say.
Yeah, one or the other.
And then after that, I think we're going to have Bloodline Comics on with Carmela on the 18th. I'm still waiting for them to confirm that date. So another huge month planned here at the USDN, highlighting these phenomenal indie creators just like John here. And as always, I can't thank you all enough. John, welcome to the Council of Nerds, my friend. And you, sir, and George Washington and the Liberty Tree are USDN approved.
That's kind of you, sir. I appreciate your kind attention.
We'll be right back with you after this ends.
It's a trap!